So I'm going to talk about this episode of SmackDown and my issues with it. Honestly, it was not that bad on the surface if I was comparing it to a SmackDown in June or something. The fact that we're less than a month from WrestleMania, I'm much more greedier. So my expectations with storylines needs to be through the roof. I want craziness. I want good character development, something to get me excited for the build up and shaping the rest of the card. Now, Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, they did a good job of that. Naomi and Jade did a good job of that. Even though these people are not on the card yet, the entire tag division of SmackDown, I give them their kudos too. That is probably one of my favorite divisions on WWE in totality. They've all been hooping. They've given good opportunities and arcs. I wish the Raw division or the women's division was given good time to really have their TV characters develop in the tag title scenes of both those divisions, but we can't have it all, I guess. But never mind, we could have it all. It's just not being done. Those will be my bright spots. I'm going to start from the main event and then I'm going to work my way down. Initially, going into Mania, I had gripes about a triple threat match between Roman, Punk, and Seth simply because there is no stake that is attached to winning the match. It does not make sense to me. I could only imagine the custody of Paul Heyman would be the only thing making it a massive moment. It just seems weird to have a triple threat with no title attached or a number one contendership attached. I understand the star power and I get the hatred between two of the three parties. Seth's hatred towards Punk and vice versa makes sense. Seth's hatred towards Roman and vice versa. That makes sense. The Roman and Punk connection is a bit forced. I assume Roman was going to say he's jealous of Punk's relationship with Heyman, but he's really just focusing on the Royal Rumble elimination. That's why my favorite part of the segment with these three, even though it was not as long as I wanted the three of them to go back and forth. It was cool seeing them there, but the only thing I really liked was when Punk said, maybe your wise man should have filled you in on the fact that the Royal Rumble is every man for himself. Correct. What are we doing, bro? And then he had mentioned that the two of them have never beaten Punk without the other one's assistance. That was dope. But just the Seth back and forth with Ron. Well, actually, it wasn't even back and forth. He just said, "Look, we neither of us can coexist at the same time. We need to settle this, bro. How many times do we need to do this shit? This is not as if they've faced each other on Mania multiple times, and this will be the rubber match to decide who's the victor. These niggas done fought multiple pay-per-views. They had hell, they niggas done had the triple threat with the Shield. These niggas just faced each other 2 years ago at the Royal Rumble, where this nigga came out in Shield attire. Last year, night one and night two, this nigga faced Roman once for the stakes of night two, whether it would be bloodline rules or not. Then this nigga came out and interfered and was the biggest interference piece because of how it decided the match outcome on night two. So what would this realistically decide, bro? That's kind of my issue. And even Punk, the one thing he did say that kind of threw me off, he was like, if it wasn't for me, you're like something to the effect that the bloodline would be in shambles, bro. The War Games match itself didn't even have any stakes. Because if it did have stakes, yes, they won, but Roman then had to he didn't have to fight Solo for the Ulafala. What difference would it have made if Solo and company won that match? It really wouldn't have made much. That itself didn't have stakes, and now we're saying it's just goofy, bro. It just seems very forced. It reeks of Roman really didn't have a direction. Maybe they were planning for The Rock versus Roman. That's the only thing I could think of because unless it was going to be him versus Cody 3, what realistically was he going to do? They abandoned the Drew McIntyre Bloodline Hunter story, which I guess could have been an option, but there was really nothing else. I could see if he would have faced Seth just solo in like a intense match stipulation, but even still would have been too out of nowhere because it's not like he's there on a regular basis. He's not even there as frequently as Punk is. So they needed something for the nigga to do. If this was just CM Punk versus Seth, title or not, would have been fully on board, would have no questions regarding why that's being booked. This one, odd. There needs to be a custody for Heyman. Something with that favor needs to be revealed. He keeps teasing it. Just say what the fuck it is. That's the only thing that's really going to have me intrigued more than what I am. Right now, yeah, I like the star power. I like all the characters. These niggas could cut great promos, so I would like them to have a good back and forth, but we didn't get the opportunity yet. Besides that, it's eh. And you probably don't give these niggas the main event spot just because of their star power. So I need a little bit more. You niggas have told fantastic stories in the years prior on the Mania build. Some match that's this big, I want the details to be much more ironed out. I can just tell y'all pulling shit out y'all ass. Sometimes it works, like the tag match of last year. Y'all niggas did not plan none of that, but it still worked out. You guys had more than enough time to get this very specific, very detailed, very organized. Right now, it's a bit eh. We doing brawls and brawls and brawls. These niggas just point at the sign. And then would we be satisfied with the finish if, say, Seth pins Punk and it's just Roman is not there to break it up? I'm not going to be satisfied with that victory. Both people who lose need to be taken out of commission, passed out, or something for me to be satisfied with the triple threat that has no title attachment to it. Not a fan, do not like it. Maybe I'll warm up to it as the promos go on, but just eh. It don't even seem like this will be a definitive thing because even after this match happens at Mania, what's to stop Seth and Roman from beefing again? And what's to stop Seth and Punk from beefing again? It doesn't really give much closure on any arc. It's just, hey, y'all stars, go do this, go hoop, nigga, roll the ball out, make something happen. Y'all can do better than that, WWE. The other gripe that I have initially with Tiffany Stratton, her title reign, her babyface promos, I've been a bit on them. I wish she was more of a tweener because that's the character that people fell in love with. And at least her promos had some oomph to them. Right now, it's a bit catchphrase, merchanty. It's a bit one dimensional, and I'm just not on board. This particular segment with her and Charlotte, she got stuffed in a locker, bro. Charlotte dog walked this lady up and down, and I got secondhand embarrassment because I felt bad. I don't think there was anything that they could do. They put this girl on an island in isolation, and Charlotte just feasted. It was a big mismatch. There was no help defense at all. There was nothing that Tiffany could have done. Just looking flustered as such. Maybe this is the character and story they're trying to do. Maybe they're trying to have her gain confidence the week or two prior, but I think that would be kind of foolish because this segment itself made me cringe so much for Tiffany that I now would not be upset if Charlotte wins the title. I think most people going into WrestleMania and following Charlotte's Royal Rumble victory would say, bro, if she wins at Mania, I'm about to be pissed. I think after that segment, it might be a good case that she needs to have the fucking title because Tiffany cannot hang with these big dogs at the moment with how her character is presented. She has no quick, witty responses to what Charlotte is saying. I get that Charlotte is more accomplished, but dude, you letting her say, look, you just went off a cash in. You think just because you blonde and have a backflip that you would want all types of good description. And she's doing it fast with conviction. Amazing. It's to the point where she feels like the A side. I did not get the opportunity to see Charlotte's back and forth with Rhea going into Mania, what was it, 39? Because they really only had a segment or two. Maybe the same thing would have happened to Rhea, but the fact that we seen this on a weekly basis and she just getting cooked, dude. You just maybe it would have been best if you had these niggas not cut promos for a while, but sheesh, man. This is the classic example of the Chrysler 300 look like a phantom until a phantom pulls up. In ring wise, the match should be amazing, but this ruins a lot of her credibility for me as champ if you cannot hang, especially as a babyface. And you can still give her the win, but sometimes when you get cooked on a mic like this, the win itself may not help because we know she's great in the ring. We need to see her give off good promos to make her feuds have some fire to it. Charlotte is hooping. We need Tiffany to hold her weight. They need to get creative to help her. If I get she had a lot of popularity coming out of NXT, but if you're gonna put a rocket to her, you gotta either give her a manager or give her a good character arc where she can hang in these type of segments. Because you could still put her over, but what would that do of how she's currently presented? Think Austin Theory 2 years ago. You have this nigga beat John Cena. They only had one promo, but he got cooked so bad in that promo that even him winning the match, I never believed this nigga. He got cooked by Roman as well. You putting this nigga on an island with hoopers and they shitting on this nigga egregiously to the point where even with the Money in the Bank, even with the U.S. title, we don't believe shit you saying, man. Your feuds will always fall flat. And maybe they should have gave Tiffany more than just those backstage segments because they did good with her acting chops when she had dissension with Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. But her deficiency is those back and forths. She needs to be more quick on her feet. Maybe somebody like Zelina Vega, she's very quick on her feet with her responses. She need to get in the lab with her and figure this shit out because that is going to be a fatal flaw and it's going to follow her even after the Charlotte feud. Remember her promo when it was the Elimination Chamber of last year with all the women on Raw in the ring? She was the low point. It was cringe when she came out. I was like, damn. But everybody was just giving her back because she was still NXT superstar at the time. Now as champ, we we just can't have this, man. And it's so cringe that you can't even justify having this as a main event. We know it's not going to be the main event either night, but now it's very evident. Speaking of main events, I already mentioned the Roman Punk and Seth thing. I assume they're going to be a main event because of star power alone. And I would much rather have Bianca, Rhea, and Io as the main event. One, they don't have the same amount of star power, but Rhea and Bianca are very big stars. They may not be Punk or Roman level, but still very good. And we have a world title at stake. Granted, I was not a big fan of how we arrived at that triple threat. I don't like how Rhea's character has regressed into very whiny, but I understand somebody has to be the heel and also her just adding herself to the match. Because what she has a rematch clause, bro. If that's the case, there's so many people who ain't did rematch clauses. What's the point of Roman entering the Royal Rumble? Hell, what's stopping Liv Morgan from adding herself to the contract? If we doing this rematch clause matters sometimes, and sometimes it don't think. Or is it just interrupting a contract signing? What's the point of Money in the Bank? Just go to a contract signing and run off with the clipboard, bro. But still, I do like the dynamic between those three, and at least there's a stake that I could identify. Like, all right, we working with something, and it will leave me satisfied with the finish. Say Liv pins Rhea, and just Bianca is not there to break it up. I still would be satisfied with the finish. If that was to happen with the Punk, Seth, and Roman match, I'm going to be pissed, and I'm gonna throw something at the TV. So that is the reason why I would much rather have that as a main event. And also, it's not just, oh, we need to have a women main event because of the Royal Rumble stipulation. We know that be bullshit. Or actually, my fault. This is an Elimination Chamber thing. But just saying that the women need a main event. it's not just that because take last year for instance, a lot of people were saying Bianca, not Bianca, my bad, Io and Bailey should be a main event. I get that the story was dope, but realistically speaking, The Rock being involved in anything, that level of star power is not human. He's arguably one of the 10 most famous people on the planet, bro. I think he's the most famous movie star easily on the planet. So his star power is different than any of these wrestlers, even Punk, even Roman. It's not in the same stratosphere, bro. So yes, him being on the card in any capacity, he has to be the fucking main event. And even still, it wasn't just star power. That tag match with Rock and Roman, Seth and Cody, that had a stake attached to it, so I can justify giving that the main event over Rhea and Becky and having that as the main event over Seth and Drew and Io and Bailey. It makes sense to me. This particular year, y'all not fighting over shit. Y'all just ain't had nothing to do for Mania, so hey, roll this ball out. Y'all niggas make something happen. That's not the fucking same situation, and y'all know it, bro. I'm not gonna leave the match like, oh my gosh, Seth finally settled the score with Roman and Punk. That's not what it is, bro. If that was the case, the shit from last year, it would have settled the score, bro. That had way more stakes. The bloodline really, his reign ended. Like, come on, bro. This is not the same amount. Not rocking. Give Rhea and Io and Bianca the main event spot because I know they're gonna hoop. I know they're gonna hoop with the promos, and I know logically it will make more sense than this nigga Roman is mad about the fucking Royal Rumble elimination. And then what did the nigga Punk talking about? He says that if it wasn't for me, your family would be in shambles or something to that effect. Bro, that match itself didn't even have stakes. None of them War Games matches have stakes. Because them niggas still had to fight over the Ulafala after that. It's just so goofy, bro. Um, Going on to my next point. The Mania card in itself. If we count in last year's Mania card, I think we had 14 matches. As currently presented, we have the full world title matches, right? We also have KO versus Randy. We have Jade versus Naomi. We have the triple threat with Roman and I'm trying to think who else has been announced or we know is going to be booked. I'm blanking out. I apologize for actually. I think it's gonna be Drew versus Damian. A match that I'm not a fan of, but it's another case of they had nothing for these niggas to do. We put them both on SmackDown. Go make something happen. That's dumb as hell. Should have would have much rather had Drew versus LA Knight or had Drew continue this Bloodline Hunter stuff. But fine. We are currently at 8 matches. We're gonna need about what 6 more matches. I'm a bit dumbfounded that we're at this point and I don't really see nothing definitive. A lot of these little feuds, they seem just like TV feuds. I love Chad Gable and American Made, but their thing with LWO, that's more of a TV thing. I don't think that has the stakes to be on Mania, but they might put it there. Ron Breaker, he's barely a character on Raw. Him versus Penta, that seems just like a Raw before Mania match. I don't see that. We have the New Day, in which y'all wasted their heel turn and don't have tag titles on them for some stupid ass reason. They might miss Mania. The War Raiders, they're not even a character on TV. They're rarely on TV. From my recollection, I don't remember any backstage segment or any promos with the niggas. Who are they even feuding with? I don't think they've even had a feud. I know they're not gonna be on Mania. We have Dom and Finn, which we get make that like the 9th match, but even still, we need 5 more. We just gonna spam these multi-man, multi-women matches. If it's for the US title, I'm with it. LA Knight, Carmelo, Andrade, all them niggas, put them in the ladder match. That's cool. But what are we doing with the women's mid card titles? We giving a lot of TV time to Chelsea. Are y'all gonna give her a Mania match? Because that is another one where I feel like it's going to be a SmackDown before Mania, where it's her and Zelina. And then that also leaves the MVP of the women's division from the past year. My MVP is Liv Morgan. There is no direction for her, and that is ridiculous because she already missed last year's Mania. You put these tag titles on her when y'all know good and well there is no women's tag division. That's they going to hell for this. Find something for this girl to do. Y'all had nothing for Alexa, and after Liv eliminated Alexa in the Royal Rumble, I assumed that they were gonna feud. Just bring Nikki Cross back, have her and Alexa go against Liv and Raquel, and then have that set up a feud between Liv and Alexa, I guess. But I don't care about how we gotta get to it. Liv Morgan needs to be on the card. All these other matches, there's not really much heat to it. There's not enough good long term storytelling that makes me say, damn, we need to put this shit on Mania. And I ain't getting nostalgic about past manias, but we still had stuff. Hell, last year, even though I didn't care for their feud Final Testament versus the Pride, they added that match the week of Mania, but still, they was feuding for about over a month straight. It didn't really have much heat, but still, there was storytelling. I don't even see what we ought to do with some of these people on the roster. Who can we realistically put on Mania and say, yeah, we did our job with this build? Not many. Not many. The previous other 8 matches that I've put on the card, the ones that aren't title matches that I'm only excited about would be KO versus Randy. I don't really care for many of the other ones just based on how we got there and how little detail that we've been given. There's not much momentum to anything. A lot of the characters that have been given good TV time and good character arcs, they are not given good opponents that would make sense for a Mania worthy feud. I'm a bit disappointed. Triple H can do a little bit better. Not just him, I guess whoever's producing some of these segments and matches, they can do better. It just don't give me that feel. It just seems like Cena and Rose are carrying the load to a massive extent. And second place will probably be Jade and Naomi at this point. They did very good with their back and forth so far. The other matches just need to step it up. I already gave y'all my complaints about Gunther and Jey Uso. Just not excited, bro.